now jumping into the final match of the day. The Bloodthirsty Kings up against Gaming Gladiators. BTK able to take game number 2. GG, victorious in game number 1. But hey, we're just getting started as match 3 has officially began. Who will be able to claim victory in this series?
And once again, BTK is going to be the underdog in this series, but they had a great game 2. And quite honestly, the game 1 opening was also quite good for the side of BTK. So it definitely feels like they understand how to deal with the aggressiveness coming out from Gaming Gladiators and even give them a small lead up to an advantage. But for the side of Gaming Gladiators, they have to hold strong, right? This is a team that has done so well pretty much throughout the whole entire tournament. And now they are faced with a potential loss against the late Kings that they have done so well to deal against here.
Yeah, we are going to have to kind of pay attention to Shark, though, over there on this Minotaur. He is going to have the Minoan Fury for the knockup, which is going to keep Zane in his tracks, even when he tries to go in for that heavy spin on the neutral objectives, on top of having Hoon, who's running the Valentina with the heavy spin at his disposal. I think it would be better for him to pick up the heavy spin instead of the Nether Realm, but I feel like it's just going to be situationally dependent on what's there for the taking. When it comes to the neutral engagement, so maybe the heavy spin just to zone out BTK will be his game plan, unless he's going to play for survivability. In that case, it could give BTK the advantage to be able to get these neutral objectives. But we are seeing Zia and Basic on the bot side, a flip around of the carry and the Brody. Now, how will this play out, right? Both of them has the damage necessary for the late game, but Zia will be able to survive a little bit better, having that corrosive strike, having that flicker at his disposal, whereas Basic's going to be a little bit more stationary. He didn't even go in for the flicker. He went in for the Purify instead. Looks like he's worried a little bit about that crowd control provided by Shark.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit scared for the carry versus the Brody matchup, right? The Brody has dominated pretty much that whole entire lane, and he's even able to kind of get a late game advantage if he is looking for. So, like, you know, the Brody is quite strong, and we're seeing some early game marksmen like the Bruno dominating into that gold side. So I definitely feel like Zia has a great chance onto the bot side, but the turtle is now started for the side of Gaming Gladiators. This time, BTK not even looking to contest on the neutral objective.
Yeah, they need to be careful, though, as this is what Gaming Gladiators wants. They know they can snowball. If they continue to take these turtles, then they'll be able to pretty much have an advantage on the side lanes with the XP boost provided. As you are looking at Zia, who can play a little bit more aggressive on the Brody, you stack up some gold on top of that, and it'll give Basic a harder time.
Yeah, definitely a harder time for the side of Basic onto the gold lane, but this is a matchup that he is quite familiar with. Now, if we take a look at the mid side, right, Hoon has the Black Dragonborn, so no utilities for the side of Gaming Gladiators, but I don't think a team fight is going to break out yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how this Black Dragon comes through. But again, onto the bot side, you can see that Zia is having a much greater time shoving the lane, has the gold advantage, has the XP advantage over Basic, and it's already a level difference now. You know, Zia with the Brody, especially in terms of the early game, has a lot of impact, has a lot of kill pressure. So the side of BTK really have to be careful to make sure that this gold lane matchup does not snowball out of control.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that Black Dragon. He didn't go in for the heavy spin. He didn't go in for the Nether Realm. But instead, something else entirely. I wonder if he's going to hold on to that, though, especially with this turtle spawning in. I mean, yes, he can drop onto the backline if necessary, but needs to be careful as he is a backline himself. Mobazane, though, pulled back to safety again. This Mathilda and Akai combination proven to work in their favor. Speaking of Mathilda, though, Mathilda Airlines in effect onto Hoon, but is going to disengage back to BTK's jungle.
I do want to say that Cold World is extremely good at using the Matilda ult to engage and disengage for his own safety. But Milo, double Petri.
Yeah, Hoon caught with a lot of CC, and Nicolette will be able to shut him down. First blood for the Bloodthirsty Kings. And that's off to a good start, as you are going to see this turtle spawn in, and they do have the numbers to take this.
Yeah, they do have a small advantage now with that pick off, but it seems like the gold lead is still inside of Gaming Gladiators' favor, right? It's about a 1k gold lead. They're even going to be the one initiating the buffs up. So definitely it seems like Gaming Gladiators, they have a much stronger opening. The Fredrin paired up with the knockup coming out from the Minotaur is just a little bit too much to handle for the side of BTK, especially in the early game objectives.
And there goes Brody, showcasing his survivability. A 3-man gank on the bot side before Hoon can even get there, and he's still able to find himself alive with that corrosive strike and also that flicker combination, which means he is still going to be able to sustain himself on the bot side. Turtle will go to the Gaming Gladiators, the second turtle of the game, uncontested in their hands.
Yeah, but the gold lead is still close, right? We saw GG able to have that 1K gold lead. Now, after the objective, it is still onto 1K. That just means that Basic is able to grab up actually quite a good amount of gold onto the bot side. And that is, you know, quite good for the carry, right? They have the heavy spin to be able to pin people for the carry to get that free hit. But is that going to truly be enough to deal with the frontline presence that the Minnow and the Fredrin has? That is a question that we kind of have to ask BTK to see if they're willing to show us here.
Yeah, and speaking of showcasing some things, heavy spin in the mid lane from mobazane. Back to safety he goes. Now, we're hitting a lot of benchmarks. This is the highest anticipated game of the NACT spring season so far. And for 2024 NACT spring regular season, we have hit our highest peak concurrent viewers, over 15,000 viewers. Make sure you guys leave a like and share the stream and cheer on your favorite team.
Yeah, it's definitely the match to watch for, and especially since we're going on to game 3, a very classic game, and Zia here looking to get bursted down.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade though as Basic will fall. Both marksmen's losing out on that engagement. Zia gets an assist, but Basic gets a kill, which means he is going to be favored a little bit more on that trade-off.
Yeah, do we call that kind of like the Dragon Ball Z where both members kind of kill each other? But again, you know, the side of BTK, they have the ability to deal a lot of damage, and we haven't seen, especially in the series, that the carry is, you know, that significant of a pick, right? The Brody deals quite well, especially in the 1 versus 1 position. There's plenty of great early game marksmen, but Zane gets denied away with the buff there. He has the retribution is coming up in 15 seconds, and best player also has retribution here available.
All right, UA, we said it right. These turtles are going to start adding up. Once they get this third turtle for Gaming Gladiators, if BTK does not find a contest, then it's going to be a hard time. And it looks like they are finding one though. Look at the bot side. You are looking at Basic stripping down the turret. We'll be able to find that in BTK's favor, which means they did find a proper trade-off to work in their favor.
Yeah, but look at the gold lead. Like, it's literally nothing compared to, you know, both of the members. And another guiding win, saving the Akai from a bad situation. Cold World really standing up to the tanking ability that Shark has. Like, it's definitely, you know, 1-for-1 here in terms of the roam position. Like, both of them are making significant impacts, and, you know, it's quite hard for Shark to, you know, deny a lot of the utilities coming out from Cold World here. So BTK quite in a good standing here. They have the bot side tower. It has been traded, but Basic has the time to kind of scale quite well here in the mid game.
Yeah, and speaking of scaling, Black Dragon from Milo trying to seize the opportunity. Double petrify. Basic will find Zia. Another realm keeping BTK alive. mobazane will shut down Hoon. 2-for-none trade. BTK stampeding through, may be able to take this mid turret with the advantage of the separation or a top side. They need to get some more real estate on the map, as right now GG has a slight advantage since they have 2 turtles up against them, up by 700 gold.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting here that Hoon hasn't really picked up the Nether Realm versus the side of BTK. The Nether Realm has been quite impactful in a lot of these team fights. So I do think it's time for Hoon to kind of step up to the plate and deal with the aggressiveness that Nicolette has, because right now Nicolette is playing a much better mage than Hoon there. But top side here, Basic looking to engage.
No, and Fury does get procced by Shark, not going to knock up any members of BTK. Milo will take down Fried Chicken. Now the seas of opportunity. Basic will claim the tier 1 turret. BTK getting what they came for, but mobazane needing to get out of there. Hit with a little bit of CC, but saved by the guiding wind provided by Cold World.
It's just the guiding wind from Cold World is just looking so good. And look at the zone coming out from the backside. Cold World actually doesn't have that much armor or defense. And he only has, the bonk comes through.
Yeah, but Basic able to claim the tier 1 turret in the mid lane. BTK inching their way up the map against Gaming Gladiators. Now are leading in terms of gold and in terms of turrets on the map, up by 2, stripping down Gaming Gladiators to their tier 2 turrets and controlling the early phases. We are now hitting close to that 10-minute mark. Lord is in play. Gaming Gladiators has been able to take majority of these neutral objectives as BTK has been able to claim the turrets, but who will be able to claim this first Lord?
Yeah, and the side of BTK, they're kind of playing this bully ball formation, right? They group up as a 5-man, they get the picks that they're looking for, and they're able to siege up pretty much any objective they are wanting. But the side of Gaming Gladiators, they're kind of struggling in a lot of these 4 versus 5, 5 versus 5 formation, and the circling wind comes through.
Yeah, Matilda Airlines for the knockup. Hoon very low. Milo smells the low HP. A shark in the water. Out for blood. A terrifying quadruple knockup with the furious dive of the Black Dragon. And Milo, Shaw Essence activated, sustains himself, gets out alive. Best player. Very low. Uses it, Praises Wrath onto the side of BTK. Tries to get away. Back to safety. The chase, though.
Oh.
Furious Soul Grip from Milo. Able to take him down. That is going to be 2 members falling for Gaming Gladiators. BTK, all 5 members standing strong.
The 7-1 scoreboard. The goal lead is still quite close for both teams, but it definitely feels like the side of BTK has the lead in a lot of these team fights. And I honestly feel like it's due to Milo. Milo is playing quite perfectly here. Cold World is going to be the one that's saving grace for the side of BTK, getting some huge sets with the Circling Eagle. And of course, Zane right here, still 0 deaths on the board for majority of the players of BTK. They're just team fighting quite well. And the bully ball style, it might be, in time for Zane to kind of turn that leaf, getting his heroes back together. The Akai seems like it's going to be the right answer to deal with a lot of the aggressiveness that Gaming Gladiators can provide.
Just this Mathilda and Akai combination is giving Gaming Gladiators such a hard time. I'm surprised that they let BTK do this again with how well they performed in the last match. It was like Gaming Gladiators was confident on possibly having an answer, but BTK still kind of outperforming them and scaling a little bit better. They're 7-1 right now in terms of kills over there for BTK. And it looks like they're going to try and climb in for even more. Circling Eagle. Mobazane is going to ride the guiding wind. Is going to proxy the minions as well. Milo, a dive in on the fried chicken. Praises Wrath from best player. Connecting on a basic. Nicolette very low. Is going to go back. But Cold World able to sustain the team and keep them alive.
Yeah, now BTK has the turn to be able to siege onto this mid tower. They had a great entire fight there, but the utilities of both teams are still available. The Purify on Cold World and Basic up for grabs. The Flicker also for the whole entire team of Gaming Gladiators available, but both teams have not decided to pull the guns now because honestly, the Lord is coming up in 90 seconds. This is going to be a very important Luminous Lord, and the side of BTK seems like they have the map available. They even have Zane onto the boss side, and even with Cold World, not scared to kind of just zone away some of the members away from their buff, away from their jungle, providing so much vision for the side of BTK to work with.
In Basic, all over the map right now, 3-1-3, leading the way, outscaling Zia. Outclassing, at least for the last 2 games. He did it on the Brody, and now he's doing it on the carry against the Brody. And doing an amazing job on top of that. 3,600 gold lead for the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings, as they are now in control of this game at the 12-minute mark. It looks like we're going to be playing into a late match here, UA, for the final match of the day.
Yeah, and this is where it's extremely exciting. But again, Gaming Gladiators is one of those teams that is able to get a win in the late game, regardless of the scores early on. So BTK, they definitely still have to hold it tight. They cannot just throw and just do their wombo combos without really using their brains. Like, they have to make sure they get the right pickoffs. But again, I feel like Hoon is lacking a little bit in this department, but Circling Wind's coming through.
Yeah, Matilda Airlines, in effect, heavy spin is going to go out from Hoon using the IMU against BTK, but is it enough to stop them? Mobazane on the chase, but now the counterplay from Gaming Gladiators. Minoan Fury for the quadruple knockup. Netherrealm has been knocked out over there from Nicolette to keep them alive. Cold World will find Shark. Down goes the Roamer for GG, and now the counter back from the Bloodthirsty Kings Chicken. Very low torn apart memories from Zia. Finds one, takes down Cold World. A 1-for-1 trade.
A whole entire team fight, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. A beautiful fight coming out from both teams, but you could really see the NetherRealm sustain coming out from Nicolette is just too much to handle. You can also see Hoon picking up the heavy spin, using it early on, and you have Zane there trying to defend onto that, but look at Milo right there, gets the 2-man Petrify. He's able to get onto the backside, picking off Hoon multiple times in pretty much all of these team fights here.
Yeah, and the next Lord is in play. Gaming Gladiators in position. Best player trying to bait out BTK to take this fight into the Lord pit. The last Lord went over to the Bloodthirsty Kings. Gaming Gladiators has been struggling a little bit in the later half of today's match. BTK has been able to find the advantage they're looking for. Speaking of advantage, Lord very low, Black Dragon from Lilo circling around is going to drop down for the Petrify. Zane will be able to claim the Lord for the Bloodthirsty Kings, maybe able to get some bodies to praise the wrath from Best Player. Is going to connect onto Milo, knocking him airborne, proccing the immortality. Cold World, very low himself. Nicolette will find Fried Chicken. Hoon is going to find Milo to respond. A 1-for-1 trade so far. Zane with a lot of CC. Trap inside of the full team of Game Gladiators will pull back the safety from Cold World with the guiding win. Cold World taking all the hits though. Torn apart memories from Zia to seal his fate. 3 members down as Zia finds mobazane. A 3-for-1 trade.
Oh, that's a huge turnaround for the side of Gaming Gladiators. And once again, it's the Brody impact, right? The torn apart memory AoE deals so much damage, especially when the members are low on health. And the multiple AoE pretty much counters the Fairness ultimate that's coming through to sustain the members of BTK. And I felt like that was even a small misplay coming out from the side of BTK. Zane was in a great position to kind of just hide in the bush and get that reset off, but they chose to go for the risk, and the risk did not pay off. The side of Gaming Gladiators now able to clear this Luminous Lord, giving them another chance in this series.
That's right, and now at that 16-minute mark, we are getting to the late game, right? Over that 40,000 gold threshold. BTK up by 2,000, but everybody getting to full build. You are looking at Basic. Dealing some damage, but no Fury for the knockup onto Nicolette. The silence in effect for Milo. Triple knockup onto BTK, but Basic will find Shark. Not going to stop them on the push. BTK, Milo rotating around. Basic finds a double speedy light wheels. Is going to find Best Player. BTK looking to claim some real estate. Milo very low though. Chicken will get the kill. Able to get back to safety as well. BTK looking to siege onto this tier 2 turret in the mid lane.
Yeah, a little bit of over-aggression coming out from Milo there. You know, he's unable to kind of get the kills that he was looking for, but did pop the Purify of Chicken. Unfortunately, it's still a 2-for-1 trade for the side of BTK as they look to go ahead and do that bully ball once again. Able to grab up the mid tower, the top side tower. I'm not sure if they're looking to siege here, but definitely a good push for the side of the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the minions in play anymore, but they got a lot off of that play, right? Opening up the base, taking down 2 inhibitors, stripping Gaming Gladiators to their last inhibitor on the bot side with half HP, and stacking up some kills on top of that. 6-11, BTK kind of living up to their name right now. The Bloodthirsty Kings dominating on game number 3, the final match of the day, up against Gaming Gladiators, who needs to find a way to turn this back around. They didn't have an easy time against the Mathilda and Akai combination, and it looks like it's the same thing again for game number 3. And I wonder why they kind of let this walk through, knowing that this kind of favors BTK's playing style, and they're performing today. Gaming Gladiators, if they want to turn this around, it's really going to start with Hoon. I mean, he has to open up really well with this Valentina. Either needs to go in. I would say I wouldn't even go in for the heavy spin right now. Unless they're going to go in to try and close it out for BTK, then yeah, you can use the heavy spin to stop the minions. But outside of that, I think it's going to kind of profit him a little bit better now to go in for Nicolette's Nether Realm to keep the team alive. Or if he does go for the heavy spin, possibly get this neutral objective, but he has to be careful, as with the late game items, BTK can easily burst down a backline.
And you're correct. There's just too much to choose from the side of Gaming Gladiators to try to pick the ult of BTK, right? I do think the sustain coming out, the utility of the Nether Realm is going to be the best option here, but the Black Dragon coming through here.
Ooh, he goes in for the Nether Realm, though. Look at Hoon. He picked up the ultimate from Nicolette, but does he have enough time to close the distance? They have to go in. Nether Realm activated. Who will get this Lord? Manoa feared for the quad knockup up against BTK. Lord will be claimed Best Player with the Retribution. Zia finds Zane. Basic finds Best Player. Zia takes down Milo for the double kill. The siege is not done, though. Cold World, Basic trying to get back to safety alongside Nicolette. Gaming Gladiators putting BTK on their backs for the Lord play, turning this back around in their favor.
Is this going to be a comeback for the Gladiators in this series? It definitely looks like there is potential there. They're able to get that team fight in their favor, along with the objective now. 4-man going to be marching down onto the mid side here. And I think, you know, Shark had a great ultimate there, able to get a lot of knockups, and Best Player with the Retribution, able to take the Lord. Now in favor for the side of Gaming Gladiators. It is a 3 versus 4 defense. Zane and Milo is coming up, but that is going to be before the Lord hits onto the bot side tower.
I don't know if they're going to be able to take this, though. I mean, the Lord is going to be bursted down. The base is still intact for the side of BTK, as they were not able to shut down the inhibitors, but it makes them a little bit more comfortable now. I mean, if they would have lost that Lord, BTK could have closed out that game. And that just shows you that now that we're in the late mark, hitting that 20-minute threshold, it's going to go down to the wire between who has better micro and macro for these team fights.
Now, it's definitely going to be anyone's game, but BTK still has the advantage in terms of the towers, right? The mid and the bot side tower. They also have a lot of ultimates that Hoon kind of has to pick and choose from. Is it going to be the heavy spin? Is it going to be the nether realm? They have to make a decision here.
Oh, circling eagle. Speaking of decisions, Black Dragon, Milo, a little premature. He's going to turn back around. Did you see that? He just completely changed his mind right there. And hey, I don't disagree with him. That's not the fight you want to take right there.
And, you know, the side of BTK, they have the circling eagle. It's definitely possible that they look for the engagement. But right now, I think it's going to be a bad choice for them to even look to get any part of the map because the Black Dragon is not available. And without that, the gap closing for Milo along with the Petrify is not going to be enough for the side of BTK to get a convincing win here. They gotta space out the time, make sure that Milo is able to get the Black Dragon up and available. And they, quite honestly, he can't even look to push onto the bot side, right? The second that they see the Black Dragon on there, they're gonna look to 5-man siege for the side of Gaming Gladiators. And 8-12 is the overall scoreboard. 20 minutes in, the gold lead really does not mean too much. What does matter is what ultimate Hoon is willing to take.
Yeah, possibly controlling these lanes, right? If you can put some pressure on a split push, possibly, you can gain control of this map on these neutral objectives as you are looking at 20 seconds to this Lord spawns in, and we can pretty much confirm this should be the last Lord of the game for either side, and I don't even think it's going to boil down to somebody taking this Lord. I think it's just going to boil down to getting the pickoffs and trying to close this out because the respawn timers are way too high to handle.
Most definitely, and I definitely feel like in terms of the team fight, BTK has a lot more in their arsenal, especially with the Black Dragon Petrify, shutting down Hoon almost every opportunity he gets. So definitely we have to watch for Milo to see if he can get onto the backside. Of course, Shark is kind of going to be the tank that goes into the front to deal with the Nether Realm if he's able to get that sustain off. And again, the damage coming out from Brody, it is still immense, but at the same time, we're heading into that late game where a lot of the teammates of BTK has some armor to be able to deal with the turn apart memory that they have. The Shark looking to go in here.
Yeah, Milo open it up with the Petrified Black Dragon. Nether Realm.
Oh, that's huge.
A little early from Hoon. A big play for BTK. They still have it over there for Nicolette if they do want to take this fight. Milo does not have that Black Dragon, though. Looks like Gaming Gladiators, they realize they need that utility back, so they're going to disengage a little bit, but it opens up the opportunity for BTK to take this Lord. I mean, look at Basic, already chipping it down, using Speedy Light Wheels, Cold World, mobazane, Nicolette zoning out Gaming Gladiators from finding the opportunity. The taunt on the best player. The knock-up, though, the response back. Gaming Gladiators, if they want to have a chance, they need to find a way to get inside of the Lord pit, but Basic shifting focus over to best player, finds a jungler. Back to safety, best player goes. Nether Realm activated over there from Nicolette to keep BTK alive, and now it's a small window. They will be able to take this Lord as Gaming Gladiators not able to close the distance. And with that major objective, a chance for BTK to possibly close out this series. I mean, I don't even see the Lord's HP right now. I'm imagining it's about 25% HP.
No.
Okay, it is very low. You're going to see the knock-up, though. The airborne fly from Milo. Terrified. Immortality being proc. Lord, not even at the retribution mark yet. Milo will fall. Zia will be able to shut him down. Circling Eagle connected. Corrosive Strike from Zia trying to get away from Cold World. And now Gaming Gladiators does have the numbers, but look at the minions already at the base. Crystal taking it down to 50%.
Yeah, GG's, they definitely looked for the opportunity there. They knew Nicolette did not have the mana available to cast any spell, so they looked to engage. It was a 4 versus 4 situation. And also, you know, in terms of the marksman, it's not available. Basic is on the bot side here. So they're looking to get these fights without Basic. Now, it's kind of like the banana split strategy that they're looking for. I'm not sure if that's exactly what BTK needs in order to take the wins in these fights.
Yeah, and Hoon used the Nether Realm and Owen Fury for the knockup on the BTK. They're going in for it. Basic finds best player. This is big. The Bloodthirsty Kings, a heavy spin on the wall, catching Shark, circling Eagle, Cold World, Mathilda Airlines connecting. Shark Immortality has been procced, but Chicken joining the party. Both sides down one member, but best player out of the playing field means Gaming Gladiators does not have a retribution.
Yeah, and now BTK actually gets the rise up, right? 40 seconds for best player. They can kind of take their time, make sure this Lord is syncing. It's guaranteed for the side of BTK. And this is huge for the Kings of the Kings here, right? They're getting the upset that they're looking for. It is into that late game where both teams pretty much have to make these high IQ plays. And BTK, it feels like their comp is just slightly better. There's just too much great ultimates that BTK has that, you know, the side of Gaming Gladiators have to choose. And now the Lord is coming down.
Yeah, it looks like BTK will be able to claim this with no contest. A big target to be able to close this game. I mean, look how long it took with their entire team trying to burst it down with no contest. We would have been sitting there for days if both of these teams would have been fighting it out on a Lord dance. But BTK now having a major advantage to be able to close this out with the Luminous Lord on their side.
But it's definitely not still a guaranteed, right? The Lord is going to be marching down. It is going to be a +1 for the side of BTK, but it is coming down onto the mid side. I don't like the Lord typically coming down the mid side. Top and bot definitely feels like it's a much better banana split to split the enemy teams. But we are going into this 25 minutes where pretty much the carry scales onto the maximum potential. The Brody does not have the impact that he has, especially early on. And of course, the Black Dragon form along with the Petrify has been kind of the death of the side of GG.
And BTK trying to go in for the game ender. Milo starting it early, drops down with the Black Dragon, Petrify, forcing out the Nether Realm over there from him with the IMU. A lot of mobility on the board and utility being wasted. mobazane, heavy spin, catches best player. Basically, we'll go ahead and shut him down. Speedy Light Rolls down goes the Lord, though. Gaming Gladiators trying to hold him off, not trying to let them to finish off this game. They still have minions to work in their favor, though, and they do have the numbers as Gaming Gladiators is one short with best player falling. Do they go in for the game ender? Minions on the top, minions on the bottom, minions in the mid, and the circling eagle for the connection. Base Crystal, 50% immortality being procced to mobazane. They're not done, though. Milo resting with the Furious Dive. Does connect with the shot Esses, but minions fall. Zia finds Milo, but down goes a Base Crystal. BTK able to claim this series.